JJ threw it into double coverage to Colston Loveland, a freshman, and he mossed them both. And it's like, sheesh. You know what I mean?
Welcome back to Scarlet and Maize. I'm Adam.
I'm Zack.
Michigan 43, Purdue 22. Purdue played Michigan closer than Ohio State did. Michigan wins their second straight Big Ten championship.
Second one in 20 years.
It's their second straight. Don't live in the past. In a year where Michigan has gone 13-0 so far, with 1 to 2 more games on the horizon, the fake flea flicker by Purdue against Michigan might be my favorite play of the year.
Yeah, dude,
Aiden O'Connell, I was wrong. Jeff Brom is amazing. He's redeemed himself, even in a 21-point loss. That play made me so angry and jealous while also just stuck in admiration at the same time, and I didn't know what to do with myself, so I found a stray cat and beat it to death. I didn't know what to do. It was such a good play. I hated it. Donovan Edwards is getting better and better and better with each game. His vision and
or is he getting the ball more and more and more?
No, his vision and patience have improved so much through the year. I'm excited for his right hand to be back next year so he can be on the field more to catch passes. But no, early in the year, he didn't have as much patience. He didn't wait for holes to develop and then go. So maybe his vision is the same, but his patience wasn't there. And he does this like stutter step now. He goes slower into the line, and then he picks a hole and bursts.
Maybe his wisdom about playing football is catching up with how old he looks.
That could be. I do think, honestly, sitting behind Blake Corum, he probably learned some from Blake Corum because Blake Corum was really good at that. If Braylon Allen transfers in, I'd love to see some 2 running back sets. But I was also hoping to see more of that this year and didn't really get to see it, so who knows. But Donovan Edwards had 185 yards on 25 carries with a touchdown from like 28 yards out. That was one of the most impressive runs I've seen this year. I think he made 7 different defenders miss on that one run, some with jukes, some just running through their tackles. Just a great, great run. Donovan Edwards is currently at 872 yards for the year, with 1 or 2 games left. So there's a real shot at him reaching 1,000 yards to give Michigan 2 1,000-yard rushers on the year. So Braylon Allen, Michigan has a shot at 2,000-yard rushers this year. There's room for you next year, even with Donovan Edwards there. I was laughing out loud when Michigan had a couple plays. They had 7 offensive linemen, 2 tight ends, McCarthy, and then a linebacker, Kalel Mullings, who played the spring game. He played some running back in the spring game, but he played some linebacker in this game too. Wow. So 7 linemen, 2 tight ends, the quarterback, and a linebacker. I just loved it. McCarthy's pick was just a terrible decision, especially on first down, but he looked really good too otherwise. Yeah. He now nearly has a 7-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio on the year as a true sophomore in his first year starting. Michigan gave up 9 points in the second half on 3 field goals, and it got me thinking when the last time was that Michigan gave up a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Do you know? I had to look it up.
I don't.
It was all the way back on October 1st against Iowa, with Michigan up by 20 points with 8 seconds left in the game.
I'm stupid.
Why?
Because nothing.
Okay. Because I complain about it when teams do this, especially against Ohio State, but I have to complain about it here, even though it helped Michigan. Down 28-16 in the fourth quarter, 12 minutes left, 4th and 6 from the Michigan 10, with Chuck Sizzle on their team, who ended the game with 13 catches, 162 yards. Purdue kicked a field goal to go from a 2-score game to a 2-score game.
Yeah.
When they actually kicked the field goal, I was like, I can't believe it, especially from Jeff Brom. So yeah. Aiden O'Connell, maybe Jeff Brom's not as good of a coach as I thought, but like it was just stupid. So, whatever. Yeah. I'm happy with it. Michigan just became the first team in the history of the Big Ten to beat 10 different conference opponents in the same season.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Let's talk about their schedule. You have any thoughts?
I thought Purdue put up a good fight, but ultimately turnovers and Michigan doing their thing in the second half was too much for them. But my two biggest takeaways, though, are why the heck didn't Ohio State pass down the field like Purdue showed they could do? And like Ohio State obviously has a better pass offense than Purdue.
Aiden O'Connell's just better under pressure.
Okay. But yeah, my favorite takeaway, you already brought it up, was the fake flea flicker.
So good.
Flea flicker. It was one of the coolest plays I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I've watched football my entire life, and I'd never seen someone do that before, and it worked so well. Like, there was one defender there that could have made the tackle, and he bit on it, and then everyone else dropped back in coverage.
Right past him.
Yeah, he like went to tackle him, saw the fake pitch, and was like, "Oh," and then was like, "Oh," and then didn't have a chance.
It was really good.
Yeah, but yeah. That was
also, if that wouldn't have worked, if the linebacker would have just gone like he's in the process of pitching, but he still has the ball, and just wrecked him, I would have felt bad for that walk-on running back.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, congrats to Michigan for winning their second straight Big Ten championship.
Did you, at halftime, think Purdue had a shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. But then, like,
exciting.
In my head, I kept going, second half Michigan, it's fine. Second half Michigan, it's fine. But then I was also like, spoiler makers. I shouldn't have talked trash on the show.
Yeah.
And then once Michigan scored and they got a stop, and I was like, okay, it's fine. It's over.
Yeah.
Second half Michigan is here.
That interception, though, was bad. He was in the back.
Oh,
he was
yeah,
in the
for sure.
Forever, too.
I thought you were going to talk about one of Will Johnson's too. Both of which were
that
just
was impressive.
amazing.
I thought he should have won Player of the Game.
I was wondering if he was going to. Donovan Edwards had more yards than I thought that he did. Like, when they were announcing it, I thought they were going to say Will Johnson, and then they said 170 whatever yards, 185. I was like, holy crap. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, it's nothing like what Zeke did in the Big Ten championship, but
Well, they played different teams. They didn't have to play against the mighty Boilermakers of Purdue.
yeah, they're great rush defense Purdue compared to Wisconsin.
Thank you. I'm glad you agree. We're going to get into the college football playoff in our next episode, which will be in a couple of weeks. But we wanted to give our playoff reactions, or at least like the teams. I don't know that there's a whole bunch to say.
Yeah.
Georgia deserved one.
Yeah, I thought, it was top two were obvious. And then I felt like even after that, TCU and Ohio State made the most clear sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very annoyed by the fact that in the middle of the Big Ten championship, they had Nick Saban on for 5 minutes to talk about how Vegas should decide who's in the playoff.
Well, it's like, oh yeah, because they weren't favored in the two games that they lost.
You know what would have been fun is if they would have had Ryan Day on at the same time and let them argue about it.
I wish they would have had Urban Meyer do the whole interview instead of having the guys, all of them, ask some questions. But when Urban Meyer asked him a question, I was like, this is weird.
Yeah. And I don't remember who I was listening to. I think it was Bruce Feldman talked about, we can say that Alabama was 2 plays away from being undefeated. They were also 2 plays away from having 4 losses.
And Ole Miss took them down to the wire. It wasn't necessarily they were 1 play away from winning that game. It wasn't at the last second because I think they went for it on 4th down in the red zone with less than a minute to go. But it wasn't like it was a last second play. And that was my biggest thing. Is he was saying exactly that was Saban argued for that the 2 losses were on the last play and they were on the road, but he also failed to mention that they barely beating teams. And Texas is a decent team, but their quarterback was out at that point. And Quinn Ewers, when he was in, had been shredding them.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt. Then they had to beat him on a last-second field goal. Then Texas A&M had
that one makes me mad. The play call, I complained about it on the show.
Alabama gave up more points to Texas A&M than Appalachian State did.
Man.
And that one, I believe,
that's crazy.
I could be wrong, but I don't want to say it. So I think it was at home, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But then also the Ole Miss game, and then I honestly think you could argue for Penn State to be ranked higher than Alabama. They both have 2 losses. Penn State's 2 losses are to the top two playoff teams.
Although they did get blown out by Michigan.
Yeah, it's true. And the thing is with Penn State is they can actually win on the road in the SEC because they whooped Auburn at Auburn.
Right.
So maybe Alabama should just beat bad teams on the road and they would have been in the playoffs.
I wish Alabama played Penn State.
Because LSU's not a good team, if we're being honest. LSU's not a good team. Tennessee was good. They weren't great. They weren't great.
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker was really good. He was the best quarterback in the SEC, and I said that at the beginning of the season.
Which, Hendon Hooker, this is a good transition because we're going to talk just about our Heisman finalist reaction.
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker was more impressive than Stetson Bennett.
Stetson
Bennett has 20 touchdowns, which is tied for 42nd in the country, 3,400 yards, which is 11th in the country.
Hendon Hooker had more than 20 touchdowns in the Alabama game alone.
J.J. McCarthy has 110 fewer attempts and the same number of touchdowns. I'm not advocating for J.J. McCarthy to be included. I'm saying Stetson Bennett should not be included.
Yeah.
You said when the list came out, you said that MSU fans were going to come at me for Blake Corum not being a finalist.
Yeah.
I know some State fans that were posting about how Corum shouldn't be invited because Kenneth Walker wasn't invited after missing the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Last year when Corum missed that game this year, I had some people text me, talk to me about it, saying basically the same things. Here's the thing. I agree that Blake Corum shouldn't be there.
Oh.
He missed the Ohio State game. He missed the Big Ten championship.
So you're not haunted by the ghost of Kenneth Walker?
I'm not. I don't think about Kenneth Walker.
Are you sure?
I can honestly say.
You brought him up first.
I did, because other people brought him up to me. I brought him up first on the show because other people brought him up to me to say, I agree Blake Corum shouldn't be invited. I agree missing the biggest games on your schedule should factor in. Corum could put up, he ran 20 times or whatever in the first 2 games. He could have run 40 times for 500 yards. Great. That shouldn't mean as much as what he does against Penn State, which he did do great against Penn State, or Ohio State, which he was only able to take 2 carries.
Yeah.
So,
which is about what Kenneth Walker did against Ohio State.
That's true.
I think he only took a couple carries.
I do think that if Corum played the second half against Illinois, I don't think the game is as close. And then he played against Ohio State, and I think about the 2 Donovan Edwards runs. I do think that there was at least one big chunk run that C.J. Stokes missed, that if Corum was in, he would have gotten way more yards than the 2 yards or whatever Stokes got. I'm not making excuses at all. I'm saying if he was healthy, I think he would have had a shot to win, which is when I would have wanted him there. But Michigan State fans, I don't understand that fan base's fetish for Kenneth Walker needing to be in New York City to watch himself in person lose.
Yeah.
Like, Corum is not going to win, so I don't care if he's going.
Yeah.
If he had a shot, so if he was healthy against Illinois, played against Ohio State, played against Purdue, then I think he would have a shot, and then I would want him to go. Yeah. But if I'm like right now, if they go, Blake Corum is a finalist, I'd go, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's not going to win it.
That's my reaction too. Ohio State's had guys in there, 3-4 straight years? Something stupid, but
they're getting a front seat to their loss.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
It's cool. Congratulations to C.J. Stroud. He had a great year, but I don't think would I be surprised if he won it? No.
It is a bummer. They should retroactively award this year's Heisman to Aiden Hutchinson since he finished second last year. This group...
They should retroactively give it to Dalvin Cook because he should have won it in 2015.
Well, that's too far. That's too far away. But no,
because Derrick Henry shouldn't have won that Heisman. He shouldn't have been top 2.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson should have probably, as a high schooler. I don't know. I think it's fine that Corum's not invited. I don't think that he should be a finalist. He's not a finalist. I'm okay with it.
Going back to the playoff.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the 12-team playoff because we just saw, I know it was the weekend before they would be picked, but we saw top 4 teams go down against current top 12 teams, and that just excites me because it shows that people are like, oh, why are we going to do a top 12 team playoff if teams are just going to be chalk every year is what they're expecting. But
see, here's the thing. This is my college football 2022 takeaway.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the BCS for this year because there are 2 undefeated teams.
Yeah.
If we play, let's say 12 teams, anyone could beat anyone.
Yeah.
It's not who has earned that spot. It's just kind of chaos, madness.
Yeah.
Like anyone could beat anyone, as we saw. So this isn't a championship. It's just a tournament playoff thing, and I don't like it as much. Anyone could beat anyone. TCU.
You're scared of TCU.
I think TCU is being overlooked by a lot of people. I'm not comfortable with Michigan as of right now against TCU. I talked to a number of
You can just say yes.
Ohio State and Michigan State and other fans over the weekend who are like, how you feel? You got to feel good about TCU. And I'm like, I think TCU is good. I think way too many people are overlooking them. I think it's going to be a good game. I think
The thing is, TCU's good, but are they one of the top 4 teams in the country?
I think the biggest thing that scares me, their quarterback is really good. I like Max Duggan.
He looked like Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. The way his eyes were so red.
Here's my hot take. We can discuss it another time, maybe in the offseason.
Yeah.
Star Wars sucks. So I don't get that reference. I watched the first 6 and wanted to gouge my eyes out. It was terrible.
So you watched the movie that I just referenced, but you don't get the reference?
I was forced to watch it, and I hated it, and I got bored and got on my phone. Anyways.
I don't get it.
I watched the movie. I don't care enough to remember. I remember I Am Your Father, but everyone who hasn't even seen the movie knows that. Whatever.
But
anyone could beat anyone. TCU or Ohio State could win, yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Georgia versus Michigan for the national championship. That should be the game. We don't need a playoff every year.
Yeah, they should do that. They should just...
It should be adaptable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, honestly.
Yeah, like one year if they feel like... the 2007 year where everybody was getting upset, put it in 68 teams.
Yeah.
Like basketball.
Yeah.
That year was ridiculous.
No.
I mean, a FCS school beat what was Michigan preseason ranked? They were probably top 10, right?
They were overrated like Notre Dame was this year. But what scares me about TCU.
This year?
TCU's quarterback, I think, is really good, and they're also a second half team similar to Michigan. So where Michigan has been bullying teams in the second half, I don't know that they'll be able to do that as much at TCU.
Yeah.
So it's like it's matchups. It's not. I don't think TCU is better than Michigan, but I think they match up okay against Michigan.
Why is he so out of shape though? Max Duggan.
Oh, how he almost died at the end. He was doing everything in the fourth quarter.
The thing is though, like I get being tired after that, but he looked like he was gonna fall over dead on the field.
Yeah, he was pushing his teammates away and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, is this guy okay?
Well, he's got about a month to get some cardio in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Who do you think is going to win the Heisman? Back to the Heisman.
I mean, if I had to pick someone, I honestly think it's a toss-up. I don't think Max Duggan will win it. I don't think Stetson will win it. And see, that's
Stetson
where I go.
being in there is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Stetson being in there. If any player from Georgia should have been on there, it should have been Brock Bowers. He's a freak, and but. There shouldn't. I mean, Georgia's an all-around team. I don't think they had someone that deserved a Heisman invite. But Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So you go down the list and you're like, I don't think this guy for this reason. I don't think this guy for this reason. I don't think this guy for this reason. And honestly, like, I think C.J. Stroud should win it. I think he's only getting robbed because of his coach's play calling. Like he didn't let.
Speaking of getting robbed because of the coach's play calling. How does TCU get the ball 3rd and goal at the 1 after Max Duggan has done everything he had done that game?
Yeah.
And they hand the ball off 2 times to lose the game.
Yeah, well, he was exhausted.
You could do a QB sneak. Have
the
running back push him in from behind.
He's going to run into the offense lineman and just fall over dead.
It was terrible.
Yeah, my thing with C.J. Stroud, I don't think he'll win it. I think it'll be Caleb Williams just because Caleb Williams is a little more flashy, and I think voters should think he's a little cute. But I think it should be C.J. Stroud still, even though he didn't play great against...
You think C.J. Stroud is cuter than Caleb Williams?
Yeah. Even though he didn't play his best against Michigan, even though he threw those 2 picks, one was a horrible play, the other was an absolute dime that Cade Stover just dropped. But yeah,
I mean,
know your personnel. Know your personnel.
If he would have thrown a deep ball and it got tipped by a Michigan defender, and then Luke Stover caught it.
Cade Stover.
So I have a friend, Luke Stover. Cade Stover caught it and scored a touchdown. It would have counted as a touchdown.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
No, I know, but it's the same thing as like they had a pick, but it was a Hail Mary at the end of the game. Well, yeah, if it was a touchdown, then
even the Cade Stover pick, I'm like, know your personnel. Like, you know that, like, if you are throwing it on a rope across the middle and he's got guys around him, that, like, know that he's...
So you just said you need to know your personnel, and that is on who? Who decided to throw the ball to him?
That's what I'm saying. Are you even listening to me?
I don't know.
Is C.J. Stroud made mistakes. He didn't play his best.
Okay.
But it was an absolute dime. I'll say that. But know your personnel. That's what I literally said. Know your personnel. So I don't know.
You tried to diminish that interception before, so I was.
Oh yeah, I'll diminish it a little bit, but still know your personnel. Like it still was a mistake.
The Mahomes one still.
Yeah.
Insane. With the game still in doubt, they still had 3 timeouts.
Yeah, I mean the game wasn't over. Yeah, but
I mean, if he would have scored there, they're down.
He was down. He was down on the play.
Well, not historically.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm not saying it would make a difference. Even if they would have scored a touchdown on that play, I don't think it would have made a difference. I think they were.
Probably not, because you still need to get a stop, and they weren't stopping Michigan at that point.
They weren't. But yeah, I think C.J. Stroud, like...
You think he should, but you don't think he will.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
Yeah, I think Caleb Williams is going to win it, but I don't like that he lost twice, especially to the same team.
I want to point out, too, like... Of the 4, those are who I think should win it. That's who I think should win it. I really think Hendon Hooker should win it.
Hendon Hooker should be there over Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, him and
honestly,
Corum should be in there.
I don't think Corum should be there. I think Corum is more deserving than Stetson Bennett. But whatever. Yeah. Stetson Bennett just shouldn't be there is the main takeaway.
Yeah.
Max Duggan didn't put up quite as good of passing numbers as Caleb Williams. He did have more rushing yards, fewer rushing touchdowns, but he also played a harder schedule. And he only lost once.
Who did?
Max Duggan.
So my beef, like, they push that narrative. Like ESPN or whoever, like, they push that narrative and they even put it on their, like, their analytical strength of schedule, their, like, top 3 or whatever, maybe number 1. What team that is actually really good did they beat?
What good defense did Caleb Williams play?
What good defense did
Answer the question, though. Utah. He played Utah 2 times and he lost 2 times. Name the second best defense that Caleb Williams played. We can't.
I don't know. I don't know the Pac-12 that well to just tell
Probably you. Arizona. Jed Fish. Like, the Pac-12 sucks. The Big 12 defenses aren't as good either. I think the Big 12 defenses are better than the Pac-12 defenses. I don't know.
I saw a tweet that said that the Big 12 is the best conference, and I'm like, go home. What are you talking about? No.
I mean, it kind of goes to your view of the Big Ten, how the Big Ten's not the best basketball conference because they haven't had a champion in a while. But the argument for the Big Ten as a basketball conference is top to bottom. They're all like they have fewer bad teams, basically, and maybe that's the argument.
Who at the bottom is good?
No, I'm not saying the bottom is good. The middle is good.
Who in the middle is good? Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State
6-6.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's terrible. Oklahoma State's bad. Yeah. They don't have a defense anymore.
Who's the Pac-12 have? USC.
Yeah. Washington.
Oregon. Washington. Come on.
You're telling me that you think that
not everyone got to play Michigan State.
Who's the second best team in the Big 12? Kansas State. Behind TCU, Kansas State's really the best team in the Big 12 because they won the championship. But Kansas State
without their starting quarterback.
Do you think Kansas State would beat Utah? No.
I don't know.
No. Do you think Kansas State would beat? I think Kansas State UCLA would be a game.
Yeah.
I think Kansas State Washington would be a game. That's the best team in the Big 12.
I'm not arguing for the Big 12. I'm just saying I think the Pac-12 is not good either, especially defenses.
Yeah. So what was the whole point?
I don't remember. This isn't our best flow episode, but Max Duggan.
Oh, you're saying he played a better schedule?
Yes.
I don't agree, but
I heard I think Desmond Howard say Or maybe no. Maybe I mean he has a vote. First of all,
okay.
I am not a fan of Desmond Howard, the commentator.
Yeah, just because Desmond Howard has a vote doesn't mean that anyone else is going to vote for who Desmond Howard votes for.
No, but just because we don't like Desmond Howard as a commentator doesn't mean other people don't.
I don't think anyone. I don't know anyone that is.
I bet other Heisman voters. He seems personable.
Who?
We're off track.
No, this is a legit question. This is serious.
It was Bruce Feldman though, but Bruce Feldman said if he would have scored that touchdown, 3rd and goal from the 1 or 4th and goal from the 1, it may have pushed him over in Heisman voting because it would have won them the game, possibly. It was the first of, it was the top end of overtime. But that coach may have cost Max Duggan the Heisman.
Maybe.
By not putting the ball in his hands.
That's like Bryce Young's Heisman moment coming against Auburn last year.
Yeah.
Like, why was it close with Auburn in the first place? And in the same game...
I get it, but Caleb Williams got blown out in his last game. They needed him, and he didn't. It was Utah, and it was his second shot at Utah.
It would have been like if Caleb Williams would have played his last game against Arizona State, and he would have wet the bed, and then they were still like, here's the Heisman because you made a play at the end of the game.
If USC was in the SEC, maybe that would have happened.
Yeah. Like, literally, Bryce Young, the same game against Auburn, was in the pocket for... I kid you not, I counted it. Not really, but he was in the pocket for 67 seconds. Other than threw it right to the other team.
It seems like you're exaggerating.
I'm not. It was 67 seconds, and then he threw it right to an Auburn defender. And I'm like, this guy's your Heisman? No, it should have been C.J. Stroud last year, too.
We have you on tape saying Aiden Hutchinson should have done it.
Yeah. I go back and forth. We should have been one of those guys.
On record, you had said Aiden Hutchinson.
I just said it on
Whatever.
record.
On to the rapid fire from that turd pile to the rapid fire turd pile Big Ten bowl game predictions.
Maybe that's my... Okay, I got it. Yeah, okay, let's go.
We're doing these in chronological order. So the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, December 27th, Wisconsin...
We laughed at that one, but then I looked at the next one and laughed again.
Sorry. Yeah. Wisconsin... without their starting quarterback who's transferring.
Yeah.
Against Oklahoma State, whose starting quarterback is transferring.
Yeah.
I got Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Only because they have a coach.
Yeah, that was my only reason. Yeah, I've got Oklahoma State. And it's not like they have some young coaches either. Gundy's been there forever.
Yeah. The Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, December 29th.
How is that an actual bowl name?
No clue. Syracuse against Minnesota.
Yeah, I got Minnesota. I mean, Syracuse did beat Purdue.
That's true.
That game was ridiculous. But I got Minnesota.
All right. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, the most disgusting bath of them all.
Yeah.
December 30th.
Can we talk about the Duke's Mayo Bowl for a second?
I don't know.
I saw on Twitter that the winning coach was going to be dumped in mayo. I'm like, that's hilarious. Got to see that. Watched the whole game last season, and then it wasn't on TV when they dumped him with mayo.
Yeah, I think I saw the clip on
I had to find it on Twitter, yeah.
Dude, got a concussion.
I was so mad.
The mayo, I think it was heavier than they thought, and it didn't come out. They just drilled him in the head.
It was Shane Beamer.
Oh, my gosh.
So Minnesota will pull South Carolina, and they'll beat 2 top 10 teams next year after winning. Oh, sorry, Maryland will beat 2 top 10 teams.
Maryland plays number 23, NC State.
Yeah, Maryland will win the Duke's Mayo Bowl and then beat 2 top 10 teams next season.
What's terrifying
they're going to follow South Carolina.
Is 2 of the top 10, so they're going to play Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State.
Yeah, so
that can be
scary.
Scary.
Michigan and Penn State.
I hope not. I hope you're wrong. I got Maryland also.
Yeah.
Iowa against Kentucky. Iowa doesn't have their blazing quarterback. And they don't have the backup who also transferred. Yeah. So they're down to their third string quarterback who I don't think took a snap all year.
Their backup came in against Ohio State, and he looked good.
He looked okay. He looked better than the starter.
I'm kidding.
I'm not. He looked better than the starter, didn't he?
No, he fumbled the first snap.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Then his next play, he threw a pick.
I don't know what game I was thinking about. Anyways, no, it's...
No, he looked... So I was like, dang, right. Iowa's quarterback...
Because that was right after Brian Ferentz said, what's the upside in playing Alex Padilla?
Yeah.
We found out.
Yep.
Anyways, Iowa, Kentucky, the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl, New Year's Eve. I got Kentucky.
It's the Trans-Perfect, and Iowa's quarterbacks are transferring.
That's true. I mean, Kentucky might be without their quarterback who might declare.
I think most likely they will be without their quarterback. And so I was like back and forth. I was like, which team will be worse without the quarterback?
But Kentucky has a backup, presumably.
Presumably. But I'm like, which team will be worse without their quarterback? And I'm like, Iowa won't be worse without it. They might be better. But
that's true.
They might put their running back at quarterback and just run the ball.
Unless.
So I actually have Iowa here.
Can Cade McNamara start for Iowa? No, he can't. But that'd be fun if he got like a waiver because he only played 2 games for Michigan.
Isn't he hurt?
He might be okay now. I don't know. Yeah, he's probably not good to go. It doesn't matter because he can't. 22 Mississippi State against Illinois in the ReliaQuest Bowl, January 2nd. I got Illinois.
Yeah, I like Illinois' defense here to shut down Mississippi State's
Have you gone all Big Ten so far?
No, I have not. Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah.
I got Illinois.
Okay.
Have you gone all Big Ten so far?
No, I picked Oklahoma State and Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
So this is interesting because in a group chat, I was arguing against the SEC.
Yeah.
And said this was right after LSU lost, and I said Purdue would beat LSU if they played.
I said Purdue would beat LSU by 50 before you said that in the same group chat.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize they were going to actually play. 50 is a little dramatic, but I do like the spoiler makers here. I think Purdue beats LSU. I think LSU's overrated.
I think LSU is overrated. I think Brian Kelly sucks. I'm nervous about Jeff Brom taking the Louisville job.
Oh, that's fair.
So I picked LSU, but I feel dirty because I think Purdue is a better team. They're clearly a more fun team.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do, like, Brian or Jeff Brom, listen.
Do a fake flea flicker.
No. So you hand it off to the running back. He pitches it past the quarterback because there's a receiver coming around on a reverse.
And then he
throws it back to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Quarterback throws it back to that receiver who's running a wheel route.
Yeah. No, to the running back. He went through the hole, and then
he hands it back off to the running back. Running back throws it.
Yeah, do that, Jeff.
I'm gonna watch the game just for that purpose, just to see if
they run a fake flea flicker.
Like, what if this is Jeff Brom's last hurrah before he leaves, and he's like, "Let's empty the playbook."
He's like,
I would love to see him empty the playbook.
I'd love to see him run a fake flea flicker.
Yeah,
that's a what do you call those things? Tongue twister.
Yeah.
Say it 3 times fast.
No.
Okay.
So I got LSU. Anyways, in this
I've got Purdue
Citrus
here,
Bowl.
I've got Purdue here banking on Brom staying and balling out.
I hope you're right. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong. 11 Penn State against number 8 Utah in the Rose Bowl.
I do think it's weird that like the Big Ten in the Midwest plays in Southern California.
But it's always been this way.
I know. It's
West and South.
It is weird to me.
Yeah. It's no good. I got Penn State, even though we all know I'm a huge James Franklin fan.
Yeah. Sean Clifford's last hurrah. He's their all-time passing touchdown leader and never beat Ohio State. Maybe he can beat Utah.
Maybe. I do think Whittingham is a better coach. And did you see after the game, he said, "You're welcome, Coach Day."
Yeah. They're good friends.
Funny. That's too bad.
I made that up. I have no idea.
Oh,
so I don't know.
I mean, they did. They probably met last year.
Yeah,
well, they probably knew of each other, whatever. Okay.
I like to think they're good friends.
Yeah,
that's what I meant by that.
They probably play NCAA 14 together.
Yeah.
College football 2022 takeaways. I already said mine early. Bring back the BCS. Did you have one?
Yeah, I have one. So we always have the rapid fire turd pile picks, and then we had the rapid fire Big Ten bowl game picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this year was the rapid fire turd year. It was just a weird year and like a lot.
So you say that, but my team is 13-0. I thought it was a great year,
dude. It's funny because ESPN tweeted a tweet, and last I knew it was still up and had been up for hours, saying that Michigan finished a second season going into the playoffs undefeated. Even though they lost to Michigan State last year.
ESPN is garbage.
Yeah, ESPN's hot garbage. Don't watch ESPN.
Unless ESPN is watching this and wants to sponsor or something.
Yeah. If you guys... Hey.
That's okay.
We'll take this back real fast.
I'll take your money. I just won't give you our viewership. My viewership. I can't speak for you.
Well, if you give us your money, I'll give you my viewership.
I'll say I watch.
Yeah. Well, we could... Yeah. If you want to put us on ESPN... Just let us know.
Yeah.
I'm in.
On to some basketball talk.
Even if it's ESPN the Ocho, I'm down.
Yeah, hey, that'd be fun. We could maybe have a segment. Ohio State lost to Duke 81-72. So they lost to Michigan, but then wasn't that
so
the
the first time ever Ohio State lost to Duke in basketball and lost to Michigan in football in the same season.
Man,
disappointing.
things are changing.
I think it's like 3-1. So
maybe that means Michigan will win a bowl game. Then they beat St. Francis, PA, 96-59. Yeah, who cares? Did you have any takeaways from those two games?
No, I mean, it's tough to obviously, like, I thought they would win, but I did, when I picked it, think that it would be tough to at Cameron Indoor. Like, it's tough to win at Duke, but they stayed 25 in the rankings. I don't know if I've ever seen that in basketball. Like, a team loses.
No, it happens.
But stayed 25, especially this early in the season. Seems like it's pretty rare. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they didn't beat Duke, disappointing. But I mean, it's basketball. Who cares? I like the Buckeyes. I like their team this year. They're fun. They can score some points, and they got some talent. And I think they have even if they don't do something sweet this year, they're probably only losing Justice Suing and maybe the one freshman, Bryce Sazenba. Mm-hmm. Then they're bringing in a top 5 class. So there's hope for this year, and there's excitement for next year for Ohio State. And at this point, and I'm for it. Basketball.
There you go. So upcoming on the 8th, they have Rutgers. On the 17th, they have North Carolina. On the 21st, they have Maine. I think Ohio State wins all 3.
Yeah, I think they'll win all 3. Rutgers did just get the big win against Indiana, but I like the Buckeyes at home here. It's basketball. I mean, Rutgers had a good game, and they had one freshman that went off in the second half, and I don't expect him to keep doing that. I mean, he's a good player, but I don't think he'll have like 16 or whatever he had in the second half. Right. Other than North Carolina went from number 1 team in the country to losing 4 straight. So North Carolina doesn't scare me, and that's a neutral site game, so it's not like it's anything a big deal. Like, it's not like it's at North Carolina like it was at Duke. Right. And then obviously I think they'll beat Maine. If they lose to Maine, there's lots of concerns there. So 3-0.
Yeah. Michigan, I said that they were going to get blown out. I didn't even want to talk about it. Then they lost to Virginia by 2.
Yeah.
Lost to Kentucky by 4.
Yeah, in London.
The Virginia game was at Michigan, but in football there can't really be any moral victories because there's so few games. Only 4 teams make the playoffs. Should only be 2 teams this year.
Ohio State had a moral victory, though.
What?
Utah beating
USC. They snuck in. In basketball, there are over double the games, and 68 teams make the tournament instead of 4. Going in, I thought Michigan was going to get the doors blown off by Virginia and Kentucky, but they lose by a combined 6 points. I'm feeling better about them now after 2 losses than I was going in. I'm worried about Jalen Llewellyn being out long term because despite his struggles, he's still better than Doug McDaniel at this point. Yeah. And they don't have many guard options on the roster.
They should get you on the team.
Hey, I have eligibility. Yeah. These next 3 games.
Maybe not the GPA for Michigan, but
look, I mean, I know like no one knows. I was gonna make a Robbie Reed reference. You don't even know who that is. He's one of the greatest point guards of college basketball history, but he's a blonde guy. Anyways, these next 3 games will tell us a lot. I just wish 2 of the games were flipped. So they play at Minnesota on the 8th, against Lipscomb on the 17th.
Lip what?
I don't know if I'm saying it right. No. Against North Carolina on the 21st. I just wish the Minnesota game was in the middle there.
Right.
So the competition would ramp up instead of Minnesota, then down, then North Carolina.
I mean, Minnesota's bad. I don't know if there's any.
They're not as bad as.
In my opinion, I don't think there's any competition here at all. Minnesota's lost 3 straight and lost to DePaul.
Yeah.
Before that, so they have 4 losses. 3 of them are in a row, and they lost to DePaul.
Yeah, I mean Michigan is struggling, and they just lost their point guard. But Michigan absolutely needs at least 2 of these 3. I hope Kobe Buffkin starts at the point guard, but that's also why I wish those games were flipped. They
Put
had
Jet at the point guard.
They had to figure some things out before, and now Llewellyn is down, so they have to figure some more stuff out. They don't have many options. I it's just it was starting to come together, so hopefully they're able to figure it out. Things no one is talking about.
I didn't talk about Michigan basketball.
Oh yeah, what do you think? I think I'm just gonna say I think Michigan wins all three.
Yeah. Looking back, I think it makes sense, especially with Virginia, that it was so close. A team that has a really good defense and not necessarily a great offense against a team that has a good offense and not necessarily a great defense. Like that matchup seems like a recipe to be a close game. But
and the Kentucky game, Kentucky shot 60% from three.
Wow.
Which is not obviously sustainable.
Right.
If they'd have just missed two of them, Michigan wins the game.
Crazy.
I mean, who knows how the end of the game plays out, but still.
Yeah. But yeah, Minnesota, like I said, lost 3 straight. They're not good. North Carolina's lost 4 straight, and Lipscomb isn't good. I think Michigan goes 3-0 here. Gets some momentum going into the Big Ten play.
I hope so. Yeah. I do think coming out of these 2 losses, I'm hopeful that Michigan makes the tournament. Though my one complaint, I don't remember if I said this before, my one complaint about Juwan Howard is roster construction.
Yeah.
He gets good guys in, but I don't know. This is like Harbaugh's quarterbacks with the point guard stuff going on.
Yeah, it's like Izzo with the big guy situation, but then it's worked out so far. But then they get some injuries and now they're struggling. Yeah.
Things no one is talking about. I don't have one. What do you got?
So what I've got is Jackson Smith-Njigba just announced today that he will not be playing in the college football playoff because he will not be healthy enough for that, and so that was a little disappointing for me. And people are talking about that, and it would have given me a little bit more hope if he was playing in that game because Jackson Smith-Njigba is Jackson Smith-Njigba. But I think the thing that no one is talking about is if he declares for is it just like his word of choice? Like it's just like, oh yeah, I'm declaring, but can he just be like just kidding and play in the game? And I think he's just kidding, and it's going to be a ruse to catch Georgia by surprise, and he's going to suit up, and he's going to be on the field, and they're going to be like, wait, what? And then they're going to have nobody to guard him.
He's going to tear his ACL and ruin his future. Maybe. I think that you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I do think it's weird. Like some of the posts I was reading the comments, and it wasn't Ohio State fans per se, but it was like people like, oh, this guy is lame. Why is he's opting out of the playoffs? Doesn't make sense. What are you doing? I'm like, did you even read the post? He said that he consulted his doctors.
Right.
Like it wasn't like he was like, I don't want to play.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not going to be healthy enough for that. But so I think it's all a ruse though. I think they're going to catch.
I think it matters what kind of agent he signs. There's approved agents and there's not approved agents. But like the portal, so like Michigan's tight end Eric All said he was going to enter the portal and then didn't right away. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was the same day, but he took a few hours and people were like, wait, he's not in the portal yet. And it's like, but I don't think it's official like that. Maybe he has to file some paperwork or something. I don't know.
But I do think it's weird. Like maybe it was like, cause I think it was Ohio State that actually announced it first, but it seems like, why wouldn't you, even if he isn't going to be healthy enough, like why wouldn't you keep that under wraps so that Georgia has to game plan for him for a month? So it seems all weird to me that they would even announce it. Especially Hammy's like seems like a week to week thing, so it seems like you wouldn't necessarily know 4 weeks in advance to be like, I'm not going to be ready to go.
But if he's focusing on getting ready for the combine and making sure he can run a good 40 and whatever.
Yeah. Focusing on getting ready for the combine, getting ready for the college football playoff,
playing NCAA 14.
He's gonna play in the game, and it's all a ruse.
Okay. That'll be fine. Tweet of the week. Mine is from Brandon Brown. Michigan has now won against Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State, and in the Big Ten Championship by more than 20 points. # dominant. # go blue.
Wow, you beat Penn State and Ohio State by more than 20 points. This is one of the things that's really notable from that.
I mean, that's true, but, I mean, winning the Big Ten Championship is still a good thing, even though, like I said last week, beating Ohio State, that was the real Big Ten Championship.
Yeah. My tweet of the week is from TND. Shout out TND. Love that guy.
What's up?
We chat sometimes in the DMs every once in a while. We have, The tweet is, with all due respect, I agree with TND a lot. He kind of hates on Ohio State a little bit, but I agree with this tweet. With all due respect, if you want Stetson Bennett on your team instead of Hendon Hooker or Blake Corum, you might want to start watching soccer more often. He's referring to Stetson Bennett being in the Heisman over them. I do think it's a little bit of a stupid tweet because I would rather have Stetson Bennett on my roster right now because Hendon Hooker and Blake Corum are both hurt for the season. So.
That's fair.
His point is the Heisman,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Right now, I'd rather have Stetson Bennett on my roster.
Yeah.
Or CJ. I'd just take CJ Stroud.
Well, with that, next time in a couple of weeks, we'll preview our team's games in the playoff.
Crazy.
The potential for a national championship version of the game.
Yeah, can I just say that? Like, how exciting is that for our show specifically? Like, year 2, we're here and we're both in the playoffs. Like, how crazy would it be for us if they played in the Natty?
That'd be crazy.
Wow, I mean, this is what we do it for. Like, they're 2 of the best teams traditionally, and they're right there.
Yeah. Right. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Go Blue.
Go Buckeyes.